Good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Thursday. We have some stuff that we are going to be talking about tonight. Obviously, as it is Thursday, we go on and talk about the drought monitor, which the poll will be going on inside of the chat in just a couple of minutes. But before we get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so right now. So far, a couple people in here and only one like right now. So if you are part of that group, go and hit the like button. Also, if you are new and you have never hit the subscribe button before, go and hit the subscribe button. And then also, same thing with the share button. Share with all the people that you know, friends, family, acquaintances, people you don't talk to that much, coworkers, somebody you met while you were inside the Wendy's drive-thru today. It doesn't matter. Just send it to somebody. And so let's go on and talk about what are we going to be talking about tonight? Well, we will be talking about our current conditions, what's currently going on throughout the state. We also will talk about the weather for tonight. And then we will also talk about tomorrow's weather, our weather for the future, short term and long term. We'll talk about the tropics. We will talk about how our mild to cool temperatures. And then for the most part, stable to frontal pattern as a front, a cold front will be moving through. And then we'll talk about the drought monitor. And then we will talk about our Q&A when that will be coming out tomorrow. But starting off first, what is going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Well, right now, there's a little bit of rainfall. Definitely up here inside the upstate. You have rainfall from Pickens, South Carolina to Dawkinsville to Slater, Marietta, South Carolina, and just all these areas up here that are getting in on some of the rainfall now. Rainfall is there, but if we go in and look at the entire U.S., snowfall is here for some as well. You have some rainfall going on all the way from Kentucky down to Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, going inside of Missouri, Nebraska, Wyoming, Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. We also do have some rainfall going on in California, and even some rainfall, maybe some snowfall going on over inside of the Eastern Rockies. Not the Eastern Rockies, but I guess you could almost say like the Southern Rockies. As we go on and move into our cloud cover for the most part is actually pretty full. It's actually pretty full. Now, what do I mean by full? I mean like the state is covered up with clouds. That goes from the upstate, that goes towards the Midlands, that goes towards the Low Country, the PD, the Grand Church, all these areas definitely is receiving some cloud cover at this time. And if we go into our cloud cover for the future as well, same thing. As you go in and push this forward all the way through tonight into tomorrow, cloud cover will remain even as you go into around the 24-hour mark. Yes, we do have some clear spots definitely coming in as we get into tomorrow night for our Friday night. But that cloud cover will be coming back right there for Saturday morning. And then Saturday evening and going into Saturday night comes along. And then we have, for the most part, still seeing some cloud cover, but for the most part, clearing up. Current temperatures right now, 58 in Columbia as well as 57 in Orangeburg, 59 in Sumter as well as 61 in Summerville, 58 in Georgetown and 59 in Myrtle's Inlet, 56 in Conway and even around 59 in Myrtle Beach, 58 in North Myrtle Beach and 59 in Florence, 58 in Hartsville and 57 inside of Bennettsville. We also do have around 61 in Charleston, 62 in Aiken and 60 inside of Greenwood, 60 in Greenville and 59 inside of Spartanburg, even around 58 in Gaffney, 58 York, Rock Hill and 57 in Lancaster. Now, for your low temperatures for tonight, you have around 57 in Greenville, 56 in Spartanburg, and even around 55 in Newberry, 56 in Columbia, 57 in Orangeburg, and 55 in Walterboro and Moncks Corner, 58 in Charleston, and 55 in Georgetown, 57 in Myrtle Beach, 54 in Florence. Now, for your high temperatures for tomorrow, for Friday, 77 Greenville, Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Winnsboro, Cheraw, Florence, Sumter, Kingstree, all these areas 77 degrees, 80 in Aiken, Barnwell, and Orangeburg, and Walterboro. 74 in Charleston, 75 in Georgetown, and 74 also inside of Myrtle Beach. As we go into our rainfall, some rainfall definitely is possible. Rainfall definitely is possible as we go into tonight, going into tomorrow night. Now, what is it? What's the timing for it? We'll talk about the timing in just a second, but for right now, it looks like that mainly it's just the upstate up there to the north of Greenville, also just to the west as well. 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch goes in all the way from near Greenville all the way over to near Spartanburg. Now, for the crazy score for tonight, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, Pretty much it is just a score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of South Carolina. And right now we're at a 13. Well, why? You may ask. Well, because we're going to have dry conditions for the most part. For the most part. We'll talk about that in just a second. No flood risk, obviously, mild temperatures. Patchy fog definitely is possible. Lingering moisture favors that patchy fog development, especially inland and near the coast, with visibilities 2 to 5 miles by daybreak. I saw some fog this morning, and you will not believe the amount of people I saw with no headlights on, and it was foggy outside. If it's foggy outside, I'm pretty sure it should be pretty self-explanatory, but turn on your headlights. Not high beams, obviously, just low beams, or if you have fog lights, those work too. But it's an insane amount of people I saw this morning. Like, almost the majority of them just did not have their lights on at all. That, and then for the most part, stable atmosphere. As a weak warm front to the north has minimal influence, nothing really for us. For the SPC outlook for this morning, for Thursday night tonight, for the most part, looks like that thunderstorm activity is going to stay away from us from Thursday. Friday, though, thunderstorm activity possible up there in the very far up stages to the west of Greenville. And then even going into Saturday, look at this, a huge thunderstorm risk for the upstate, the Midlands, the Low Country, the PD, the Grand Strait, all of these areas has a chance for some thunderstorm activity. Excessive rainfall, same thing here. Nothing for us, though, as we have no chance for any sort of excessive rainfall as we go throughout the next 5 days or so. Now let's go on and talk about our models. So we're going to start off here. Time is in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure that you go on and pay attention to that. As you go on and push this forward, you can see that, like I said, rainfall, it says rainfall for sure definitely is possible. We have some falling right now, but just very minimal. And you're not really seeing too much rainfall, even as you get to around 2 a.m. all the way to 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. We may see some. But, again, I'm not really looking at it and really saying, oh, we're going to have widespread shower and thunderstorm activity, because it's just not looking like that. Yes, some rainfall definitely is possible, and we just saw from the National Weather Service on why, even though the models might say something will happen, it might not happen instead. We were supposed to get some rainfall yesterday, but then we ended up not really getting too much, if any, at all. And so, even though the model said it, we didn't get it. We continue it further even more, though, all the way to around 8 to 9 to 10 p.m. And this is just outside the range now, but this is going to Friday night thunderstorms. The ingredients are there. If the convection is there at the right time, then yes, we could potentially see some thunderstorm activity. Even as you go into around Friday morning, look at this, 6 a.m. on Friday morning. Rainfall going into the upstate, going inside of the PD areas as well, Grand Strand areas, even moving into the Low Country a little bit by around like 10 to around 11 a.m., 12 p.m., even as we go into that Saturday. And then Saturday afternoon as well also brings that rainfall and thunderstorm activity as well. So for sure, it looks like that rainfall and thunderstorm activity will for sure be a possibility as we go into Saturday. Now, what about our long-term future? Long-term future, we're going to start off here on November the 22nd. You want to push this forward right here, and for the most part, you do have some rainfall, you do have some thunderstorm activity, potentially moving in as we go through around like the 27th. This is actually on Thanksgiving Day right here. Look at the difference. We go on and look at the one for today. Look at the one from yesterday. A lot less. You go from the one the day before, nothing. Just to show you, that's the progression. And that's how quickly these models can change. In 2 days' time, 48 hours' time, it changed from nothing to something. And so now we could potentially be talking about a wet Thanksgiving, a rainy, stormy Thanksgiving now. And so it just matters on if it stays consistent. If it doesn't, well, then we'll know that this is just one model run. But the models have been trending in the more active direction, just as we've been going through the past couple of days now at this point. And so, like I said, if we go back all the way through, this first system that comes through right here, the main system was actually supposed to try and move through around like a couple of days before. But now you can see you get to Thanksgiving now, and then you have the cold front instead passing on Thanksgiving. But when you look at the couple of days before, the cold front had already passed. It's already out to sea at that point. And so models have pushed it back a little bit more. Now, will that change? Again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow evening for Friday evening, but cold front moves through apparently, according to this model, on Thanksgiving Day. Now, this is not temperature. This is just air and how dry the air is. The lower the air is, or the lower moisture the air has, the lower the number is going to be. The higher, obviously, the more moisture. And so, with cold fronts, it comes with dry air, but it also comes with temperatures as well. And temperature air from cold all the way up to warm, and then it stays. And you can see how it gets cold immediately after that cold front goes through the 28th, the 29th, but then you get to around December and it starts to get warmer again. But going back to the actual radar itself, cold air will be moving through after Thanksgiving. Yes, we saw that. But then as we go into around like December the 2nd, the 1st and the 2nd, it looks like more rainfall. Another system wants to try and move through, and maybe even another one as well. Just back to back to back, as we've been talking about. And so if we go back over into the anomalies as well, we start off into December, and we get, for the most part, warm. Nice and warm all the way through December the 3rd, the 4th, even going on all the way into the 6th. And so warm temperatures definitely take over by the time we get into December, but cold air definitely will be trying to make a return for next week, for Thanksgiving week. So if I was to make a prediction on what I thought the next week's forecast is going to look like, which we will talk about on Sunday, so make sure that you're there Sunday evening at 9 o'clock p.m., where we will be talking about the entirety of Thanksgiving week. I think that it would be more of a cooler weekend, and maybe even a potentially a above average weekend. Matters what this storm system right here is forecast to do as we get into that day on Sunday. One thing we can look at if I use this as a placeholder, I can go on and go to the Climate Prediction Center. And if we go through the next 6 to 10 days in terms of precipitation, this goes pretty much from the day before Thanksgiving all the way over to the 30th. You can see that for that time period from November the 26th into November the 30th, above average precipitation is what we will be looking at, and look at temperatures on this during this time period as well, actually above average. So a bit of a difference there. Definitely a bit of a difference there. Even if you go into the next 8 to 14 days as well, shows pretty much the same thing. Temperatures and then precipitation right here. But that's all that I had to say there in terms of our long-term future. We still have a lot of stuff to get, we still have a lot of stuff that we still have to get correct, but we still have to wait a little bit. Now for the tropics. Tropical cyclone activity, you probably guessed it, is not expected right now. Not expected right now. And so, even if we go on and look at the ensembles as we go on and usually do, we go on and look at the loop, we go on and check out the next 10 days, all the way into the 30th now. Tomorrow, we will be 10 days out until hurricane season is over. Again, tomorrow, we will be 10 days out until hurricane season is over. And so, you can see here, you have some activity going on in the Southern Caribbean, and actually, maybe it might be trying to take a little bit of a turn to the north a little bit, but, that's like the last day. And so, but for the most part, if you look at everything else, though, pretty quiet for the most part. So now that that is out of the way, let's go ahead and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say, actually, before we go ahead and do that. The drought predictions right now are about to hit the chat in a couple of seconds. Obviously, the first option being the drought has expanded. The second option being the drought has shrunk / stayed the same. And then, obviously, the third one would be the drought is gone, but abnormally dry remains. And then obviously the last one will be the drought and abnormally dry is gone. So make sure that you go in and vote inside of that poll, which should be going in there right about now. So go ahead and check that out and put your answers in there. So let's go in right now and talk with the audience. And so let's see what's going to happen here. So starting off though, we have, which this thing is inside of the way, but I can go in and get around it. Let me see, was my Aunt Lula here first tonight? Says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Mr. Chris comes back and says, please remember to go on and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also, share with everyone that you know. He's absolutely correct. We've had 9 people tune in so far and only 6 likes so far. 9 people tuned in so far and only 6 likes. If you are part of that 3 that have not hit the like button so far, go on and do so. My Aunt Lula says, I hope that everyone had a great day. I did. Today in Georgetown it was cloudy but no rain. Thank you so much for that weather update from where you are, and for pretty much most of us, that's what it was. Cloudy, no rainfall though. Like I said earlier, it was foggy though outside. Was definitely foggy outside, and that could potentially continue into tomorrow as well. Mr. Chris says, it was a little cool up here in Moncks Corner. Started off cloudy, but started to clear up by this afternoon. Interesting. I don't think it cleared up for where I was, really that much. I think it stayed cloudy around like the whole time. My Aunt Lula says again, today wasn't as warm as yesterday's. And then Thad comes in and says, good evening, just so I trust all as well. We got a few showers here today. Much needed rain for the plants and the grass. Absolutely. Fantastic. Let me go and give you a rainfall clap for that one. And so, glad that you got some rainfall though, and because I know for a fact that y'all still are inside of a drought right now, so rainfall is definitely needed. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. Long day just getting off of work at 9:10. Wow, that is late. And then my Aunt Lou says, I have back problems, and also when the bad weather doesn't help, I pray that you feel better. Are you talking about Mr. Chris from earlier? And then my Nana says, hi Jay, hello to you. And Mr. Chris says, just checked my thermometer here in Moncks Corner, and it is around 60 degrees. From my old weather station, says it is 59. My new weather station says that it is 59. So they both are in agreement in terms of temperatures being around 59 degrees. And that is all that I see here in terms of the audience. I'm going to check out the poll. We still don't have a good amount of votes. So if you have not voted inside the poll yet, go in and do so. Only like 2 or 3 people have voted, and definitely more than 2 or 3 people inside the chat right now. So please go on and hit your option inside of the poll, so you can go on and see if you're correct. Make sure you know what your prediction is, and so you can lock it in. So let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina first, and then we'll come on and continue with the drought. But starting off with San Antonio first, as we always do. If you want to know why we talk about these areas, is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And so because they tune in almost nightly, we want to give them their forecast. Even though their main location is not being talked about the most, they still come on and tune in either way. So starting off with San Antonio, low temperatures tonight at 70, high temperatures tomorrow at 80, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 66. In terms of precipitation tonight, thunderstorms, there is a chance of it. Same thing for tomorrow night, but tomorrow during the day, only really just a shower risk. Now, in terms of severe weather, tonight, if I go back and look right now, I think that you're almost about done. I mean, I think you do have some rainfall, definitely some heavy rainfall around you right now, but marginal risk of severe weather, isolated tornadoes, isolated damaging wind gusts, and isolated damaging hail is possible. I do remember talking about that yesterday. As I said, that you did have that isolated severe weather risk, and all hazards were possible. Tornadoes, wind, hail, all of that was possible as you went into today and going into tonight. Now, in terms of excessive rainfall, really not as much. You still do have an isolated risk for tonight and still also for Sunday, but just an isolated risk, nothing else more than that. Then for Raleigh, North Carolina being the second, low temperatures tonight at 49, high temperatures tomorrow at 71, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 61. No precipitation tonight, chance of rainfall tomorrow and tomorrow night. And then after that, that is it in terms of that precipitation and that rainfall chance. In terms of excessive rainfall, severe weather, nothing there. In terms of severe weather, nothing here either. So we're good there. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 41, high temperatures tomorrow at 56, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 46. No precipitation tonight, but there is a slight chance of rainfall tomorrow, and tomorrow night rain is expected at an 80% chance of rainfall. Severe weather, nothing is there. Excessive rainfall, nothing is there. And then finally, the last location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 54, high temperatures tomorrow at 71, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 44. Chance of showers tonight, no precipitation is expected tomorrow or tomorrow night as well. In terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall, well, no severe weather, but in terms of excessive rainfall on Sunday, scattered flash flooding is possible for you. And that is it in terms of those 4 locations. So let's go on and talk about what's going on throughout the entire U.S. in terms of weather news wise. Isolated strong to severe storms and widespread heavy rainfall are possible across the southern plains into Arkansas. Widespread showers with a slight chance of thunderstorms are also possible inside of Southern California. Urban flooding, rock, and mudslides, as well as minor debris flows near burn scars are possible. They also will receive some high elevation snow, as well as southeastern Arizona. Going to receive some freezing temperatures, some fog as well. Will also be ongoing in southeastern Alabama, going into the Panhandle of Florida, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, northern Mississippi. All these areas, fog is indeed going to be a threat, and that's just dense fog. In terms of just regular fog, a lot more areas could potentially see some more. And that is all in terms of this area. So let's go on and talk about the drought. So if you have no idea what the drought monitor is and why we do it every week, it's because on every Thursday, the drought monitor, people go on and release their drought monitor. And it's pretty much just a forecast on what the drought is and what it looks like. And so we go on every week and we play and we see who gets to win for the week. And so I go on and participate as well. I have not seen the drought monitor, so I have no idea what it looks like. But you have the poll right now inside the chat. So far, 50% said that they think that the drought has expanded. 33% says that the drought has shrunk / stayed the same. 0% says that the drought is gone, but we're still abnormally dry. And 17%, surprisingly, says that the drought and the abnormally dry is gone. If I'm going to be honest, the drought and the abnormally dry definitely is not gone. I don't think that the drought is gone either. So if I go back and look at the past 7 days, in terms of rainfall, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, only a small percent of the state received little to any rainfall. You want to look at it right here. This is the past 7 days. That's it. Nothing. Barely. I see like a little dot up here, but that's like it. And maybe over here. So if I'm going to go in and make it a prediction, yes, it was definitely on the cooler side. But no rainfall. That's just going to add more and more to the drought. So I'm going to be a part of the majority and say 50 and be a part of the 50% that said that the drought has expanded. So let's go on and check that out. Get a drum roll and check. And so far, from what I'm seeing right now, I think this is an expansion. Let me go on and check the last one real quick. If we go back 7 days, that's on the 13th. And so I believe that this would technically be an expansion. And yeah, no, that's an expansion for sure. So just to make sure that I'm not, cheating, that is a bit big. There we go. This is what it looked like on last week. Compare that to now. Definitely saw an expansion for sure. Definitely saw an expansion. But there still are a lot of regions that are still inside of that none category that doesn't need the rainfall. Definitely may want the rainfall, or maybe some isolated areas may need it. But Tri-County area still looks good. Parts of the Midlands still looks good. And even parts of the upstate as well. The areas that need the rainfall the most over here is in Bamberg County, going inside of the entire county of Allendale, southern Barnwell, areas of Jasper County, going into areas of Beaufort, Hampton, Aiken, western Orangeburg, southern Edgefield, even up here in York, Lancaster, Chesterfield, going inside of Chester County as well. And some of these areas will need rainfall the most. In terms of everybody else. Now, you also have some yellows as well, like over there near Horry County, over there near Marion, over there near Saluda, near Newbury, near Fairfield. That's not a drought. You're getting close to a drought, but you are just on the abnormally dry side. So, congrats to the 50% that got it correct. And so that's all that I have to say for the drought. So let's go in and check out the chat one more time and see. Did we have any more chats? Mr. Chris says, I believe the reason I'm a little warmer than you is because I'm right on the lake. That's definitely a possibility. I mean, in 1 degree difference, it's not that much of a difference. I mean, I could go, across town and probably get, a close to a degree difference. If not, maybe, a half a degree difference. But it's not going to be too, far off. And that's all that I see there as well. So top fans for the night tonight. Mr. Chris at number 1. My Aunt Lou is at number 2. And then Trails at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night tonight. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to be here early. You have to be active inside the chat. And you have to be a subscriber of the channel as well. That's all that I have for tonight. The Q&A will be coming out tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. It will be premiering. It will not be live. It will be premiering. So there will still be a live chat. I can still reply to you inside the chat. But at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, there will be our Q&A video for all the people that have asked me questions. That will be answered tomorrow, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. If you had a question that you want to know when it's going to be answered, tomorrow. And if you just want to watch just to know some more stuff, then go on and also tune in. But tomorrow, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and then we'll be back 9 o'clock p.m. as well for our regular forecast update. I'll be back also tomorrow morning, Friday morning forecast update. And then in terms of what's going to happen in terms of the future, next week we'll have our Thanksgiving week forecast, and then the week after that, we'll be talking about our December forecast. And for real this time, our winter forecast. I made that mistake earlier in the month, but winter forecast will be coming out in less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. And so that's all. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday evening. Make sure that you tune back in tomorrow for your Friday morning forecast update. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're new, and share with all the people that you know.